Okay, we are back in Friendsim
Continue.
2.
Load game.
Load game.
Load. Load.
Oh,
Load
yeah,
slot
I think we are
for
gonna do,
Tuesday.
continue on from this
May.
one. Okay. I believe the question here is, whose worldview are we going to shatter? Yeah. We got two different options here. Let's actually
Still suck.
go with Delsa, because we're trying to get her to get over to the...
You
other
make your
world.
way to the bedroom door and give it a cautious knock.
Come in!
You enter to find Still Saw hurriedly typing away at a husk top, desk littered with papers.
Oh, so sorry you have to see me like this. I just got a call from my boss. I'm very behind, and unfortunately I have very little time to talk.
There's no way she could push her work back for a couple minutes, is there?
Not a chance. Mr. Argent needs this paperwork before the evening shift begins, and I can't let him down.
Well, what would happen if she did let him down? Still Saw stops her frantic typing to look at you.
Why, that would cause complete and total chaos.
Yeah, perfect.
If the paperwork isn't ready, then the next stage of trial prep can't commence. And if trial prep isn't going forward, it gets delayed and creates a clog in the legal machine, and we can't have that. When the higher-ups hear about who caused said clog, all fingers point to me, and I'll be put on a cull list for sure. It's best to just do what I'm told.
How is that okay? Doesn't the fact that she could be put to death for not finishing paperwork on time make her angry?
Well, yes, but emotions like that aren't very productive.
But what if they could be productive? She could use that anger to do something powerful. She could use the anger to fuel real change, just like Stenya did. Still Saw freezes, eyes blown wide open.
Oh yeah, in this timeline she didn't walk in on me looking at the notebook.
You read Stenya's journal. The forbidden part.
Yup,
Alright, looks
hidden
like
washi
that.
tape section and all.
Covering that right here.
You need to forget about everything you read in there. You can't.
This woman Still Saw admires, whose journal is helping her learn about who she is and could be, was an anti-empire protest organizer. That's not the kind of thing that can be easily forgotten.
If anyone ever finds out about where I come from, I could be culled on sight. We both need to pretend we never saw anything.
And that sucks. Doesn't that make her angry? She needs to let herself rage. Still Saw sighs and pinches the bridge of her nose.
I'm not sure what you're trying to get me to do here. Sure, I could rage, but it would only get me culled. Yes, the system is flawed. Yes, I'm tired of constantly living in fear of my own past. But there's nothing that can be done about it.
Of course there is. There's always a way to make change.
How do you propose I use this anger to make real change? Preferably without facing the same horrible fate of my ancestor.
You think for a moment. Break.
Breaks it.
Aren't you tired of being nice? Don't you just want to go apeshit? What if she just snapped? Broke some shit, made life hard for Legis Corpus, and yeeted herself off the ship?
Are you daft?
Yes.
Why would I draw that kind of attention to myself? It doesn't matter how frustrated I am at my superiors. I can't do anything so dangerous.
Talk to her bosses. Joy, you know, there are other people out there that are just as frustrated at their superiors as she is. And they're there to protect each other. If she's really unhappy with the way things are on the Iastissia, there are people she can talk to about that.
First, but whatever.
Are you suggesting I join
Still Saw leans in close and whispers.
a rebel group?
Yeah. She doesn't even have to do anything dangerous. The first step towards making things a little better is connecting with others who want to do the same.
Are you insane? Do you know the kind of negative attention that would bring? Do you know how many sleepless days I've had worrying about Zizi and what would happen if whatever group she's a part of gets caught? I can't do it. It's just too dangerous.
But think of the people you could meet. The things that you could finally feel comfortable talking about.
What could I possibly need to talk about so much that it's worth risking my safety?
Work. She could let out some of her frustrations about work, for one.
Well, that's what a Moirail is for, isn't it? I would love to have a Moirail, but I don't think I need to put myself in danger to get one. I would have one already if Tagora would just open his eyes and...
Stilsa freezes and blushes, realizing what she just said. Don't worry, Stilsa, you won't tell anyone. Stilsa mentioned earlier that she didn't want to mention the journal to anyone. You think you understand why now. But what if Stilsa could find a community that she could trust wholeheartedly with that information? Think of all the things she could learn about her own lineage. Stilsa's eyes widen.
That's not possible. There's nobody who I can trust to show the journal to. It was risky enough to show it to you, and I'm starting to really regret that decision. And even if I talk to a few people about it, what could they possibly do to help? There is no Alternian Jewish community anymore.
None that she knows of, but that doesn't mean they don't exist. She's not gonna find a community that's been heavily persecuted by the Empire just floating around on Chithr. But you know people who can do some digging. Malik is a hacking genius. You bet he'll be able to find all kinds of information about Alternian Jewish communities. And those traditional songs in the journal that she couldn't read? You're sure Tizia's old bandmates are part of the rebellion. They'd totally be able to decipher the sheet music for her. Even without all that, wouldn't it just be nice to be able to talk through all this with new people while she learns about where she comes from?
I suppose it would, wouldn't it? I've showed the journal to Zizi plenty, but she only knows as much about this as I do. Maybe a non-teal perspective really would help me learn more about Stenya.
Exactly. This would be good for her. You start tugging on her sleeve. Come on. You know a great place where you can get her in touch with some helpful rebels and...
Stop!
You freeze in place, and Stilsa clears her head with a breath.
This isn't right. I am where I am meant to be. My entire life's work has led up to my assignment on the Justitia. It's such a privilege for me to be here. Why would I throw that away?
Because she's unhappy? Isn't that enough of a reason to walk away from something?
Plenty of people are unhappy. Almost everyone I know is unhappy. That isn't enough of a reason to throw my safety and everything I've worked for in the garbage.
Stilsa rubs her temples and turns away. Damn, you thought you were so close to breaking through.
I'll tell you what. Give me one good reason. One genuinely convincing reason why I should abandon the Justitia, and I'll go.
It would make Tizias happy. She knows about Tizia's involvement in the rebellion, right?
Don't know if that's the right one, but
Unfortunately,
I get the feeling that this is only, like,
I've been
really
trying to avoid the topic for years, but yes.
plot forward.
And Tizias has tried to get her to join the conversation about it, right?
Of course. She's left plenty of pamphlets laying haphazardly around the hive over the sweeps. They aren't bad ideas. I've never disagreed with her. I just think she's being reckless and unsafe.
Can't you see how badly Tizias wants her to join her in being reckless and unsafe?
And can't you see how badly I want her to stop? Zizi has never been good at self-preservation. Her sleep schedule is atrocious. She forgot to eat throughout all of Tagora's wedding festivities. And ever since she swapped out water for coffee, I'm pretty sure she stopped peeing.
So she is drinking coffee? I don't know, I'm confused.
How am I supposed to trust her on such a dangerous choice? I'm sorry, I can't do it.
Stilsa turns away from you, flipping through some papers and furiously typing.
I'm so terribly sorry, but I do need to get this work done.
But you weren't finished.
My bosses are waiting. The Eustacia is a finely oiled machine, and I can't be the rusty cog that breaks the whole ship down.
Will she be free to talk later? You thought you two were getting to some pretty interesting territory and...
No, the work is never done. I'm sure Zizi will be able to keep you company for the remainder of your stay. Isn't that right, Zizi?
Stilsa yells that last bit out towards the door. You hear a non-committal huh coming from the living room.
Feel free to leave whenever you like as well. There's an escape pod a few corridors down. I'm sure that can take you to wherever you need to go. It was lovely talking to you. Goodbye.
Oh, crap.
The council will see you now. Once again, your vision floods white. Fuck. You didn't even die this time. What are you doing here?
Screwed up.
Muse of Light, you may not have died, but you still clearly need a do-over. Sylph of Space, not all fatal mistakes end in death. You're not sure if you'd consider failing to convince Stilsa to join the revolution is what you'd call fatal. Muse of Light, oh, but it is. Both of them are miserable, and something needs to change. You know that as well as we do. Sylph of Space, it's not an impossible task. You just need to appeal to what matters most to them. Sylph of Space, you might want to consider changing your approach though. Changing your approach? Muse of Light, you don't have all the information you need to make this easy. Muse of Light, like we said, it's not impossible, but if you want to get the two of them out as soon as possible, you might want to consider approaching it from the other side. Are you sure? Convincing Theseus to abandon the rebellion sounds near impossible. Muse of Light, just think about what you know. There's a missing key to the path you want to go down. Muse of Light, you can break the lock if you want, but the path of least resistance is always an option. Muse of Light, go on, give it another try. Sylph of Space, we'll be here to catch you if you fail. Whose illusion will you break? Still, you make your way to the bedroom.
Come in!
You enter to...
Oh, so sorry.
There's no way she could
Not
push
a
her
chance.
work back. Select. Talk to her.
the bosses.
Stilsa is on the most high-powered teal ship in the galaxy. There's gotta be some pretty high-up guys here. If there's anywhere you could try to change things from the inside, it would be here.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but making change from the inside is not feasible. Especially not here. I should know. Before we ascended, Zizi dreamed of making even the most microscopic Legis Corpus reform. She gave up the second we got here. It was just too dangerous. Even for her. I hate to see her dreams crushed like that. I was so worried her plans would draw negative attention to us.
Aren't you? Stenya's journal. Work frustrated. She could let out some. Try again.
Crap.
Whose illusion? Still. You make your way to the bedroom
Come
door and
in.
give it. Select. Talk. Alternia's injustices. There's all sorts of injustices on Alternia that she doesn't even know about. Doesn't she think it would be fascinating to learn about them? The Teals all seem pretty sheltered up here. You can't imagine she knows much about the lives of Rust Bloods, does she?
No, but I don't imagine their lives are very comfortable. But there's no use thinking about that. The only one whose life I can control is mine. So I've vowed to work as hard as I can to give myself the best life I can muster. And that life can't be cut short by dabbling in questions I was never supposed to think about.
Stilsa turns away from you, flipping through some papers and furiously typing.
I'm so terribly sorry, but I do need to get this work done.
But you weren't finished.
Oh, crap.
My bosses are waiting. The Eustacia is a finely oiled machine, and I can't be the rusty cog that breaks the whole ship down.
Will she be free to talk later? You thought you two were getting to some pretty interesting territory and...
No, the work is never done. I'm sure Zizi will be able to keep you
Okay.
Try
again.
Who's aloof? Still saw. You make your way to the bedroom
Come in.
door and give it.
Working on her.
Select. Join a rebel. You know. She's not. She's.
All right.
The work she does up here actively does people harm. The Alternian justice system isn't real justice.
I know that. I know Legis Corpus doesn't help anyone but the very highest elites. That's not the point of doing my job. The point is to keep myself and Zizi safe. Looking out for us still counts as helping someone.
It's in her blood. You reach over towards Stilsa's desk and grab the bullet journal, flipping to the freshly retaped forbidden section. Once again, you break the seal, leaving Stilsa to wince at your actions. You flip to the protest map spread. You ask Stilsa if she's ashamed of what Stenya did.
Ashamed? I don't know if shame is the right way to describe it. More like fearful.
Yes, you know she's scared of danger and conflict and all that, but when she looks at this spread, does she feel ashamed of what Stenya organized?
Well, no. Quite the opposite, actually. It's honestly admirable. The first time I saw the protest map, I was filled with an undeniable dread. But every time I've looked at it since, I've been more and more impressed. Organizing a protest must take an extreme level of management skill, and the fact that this was all done on paper is even more impressive. But what astounds me the most is the insurmountable courage this must have taken. She was brave enough to stand on the front lines and risk her life for something she believed in. I can't even muster the courage to ask Mr. Argent if I can implement a more efficient type of spreadsheet at work.
Well, if Stenya could have that courage, why can't she?
I'm a coward. Isn't that obvious? My whole life has been dedicated to doing exactly what was expected of me, just for a guarantee of safety. And more it feels like that's not a guarantee anymore.
The last shred of Stilsa's professional demeanor snaps, and she slumps over. You rush over and put your hand on hers. If she's willing to take a little leap, just one tiny step in the direction of danger, she'll be surprised just how courageous she can be. And most importantly, she'll be able to be herself for once. Not the organizational machine she was trained to be, but the real Stilsa Sizayat. Stilsa straightens up and takes a breath.
Okay. I think I know what I need to do.
She takes the journal from your hand, stands up, and does a little shake to shrug off the negative emotions before opening the bedroom door. 1. The two of you step out of the bedroom to find Theseus sprawled out on the couch. 1.
Alright,
The
what's
t-
the message? Oh, come on. Oh, excuse me.
The two of
I
you
wish
step
I
out of
could
the bedroom.
just tell.
Select. The two of you step out of the bedroom
Zizi,
to find Theseus sprawled out
we
on the
need
couch.
to talk.
Fuck.
I know this is something I've avoided talking about for a while. It's pretty far out of my comfort zone. But I can't kid myself any longer.
Please don't draw it out like this. Just say it. You're leaving me for the new timeline.
I want to join the rebellion.
What?
I know you're part of some rebel group. I don't know what you do or how involved you are, but I want to join you.
Theseus turns to you, mouth agape.
What did you say to her?
You shrug. All you did was point out some stuff in her journal and the rest fell into place.
Her journal? What was that?
My ancestor was a protest leader. She documented everything she did, including the protests. I tried to cover it up, just in case someone tried to connect me to her crimes, but This one here really is quite the detective.
Still saw hands Theseus the book, untapped pages wide open. Theseus flips through a couple of them delicately.
Your ancestor was the Scrivener.
The what?
Still saw looks just as confused as you do. Theseus is almost bouncing with excitement.
The Scrivener! She was the leader of a brief revolutionary movement based around protesting forced ascension. It was snuffed out really quickly, so there's not that much info about it. But your ancestor was so thorough with documenting everything that I found a couple of her protest guides in my research. Nothing this complete, though.
You know things about Stenia that I don't? You need to tell me everything! I've tried to look her up in Legis Corpus records before, but they've basically wiped her from history.
So, I think if Andrew Hussey were still involved with this would kind of be kind of setting you up like, hey, this is a real happy moment, whatever, just to like really slap you down later on. But these new writers, I'm not sure if they're going to really go for the roller coaster type of thing like that, but whatever.
The only thing I could find about her is that she was eventually arrested and tried by some legislacerator known as the Diligent.
Yup, the Diligent. Otherwise known as Tenia Entic.
What? You're... my... what?
There's a reason I was never into ancestor worship.
Selected. Theseus, there's a reason I was never into ancestor. Selected. Theseus, wow, there is some crazy fate shit going on here. You watch as Stilsaw's stunned stammers turn into laughter. The two of them make their way over to the couch and flip through a few more pages together. The two.
Oh, jeez. Let's see what we got here. Oh, Marquis.
The two of them make their way over to the couch and flip through a few more pages together at Listless Advocate. Wish I could just tell her. The two. Selected. The two of.
Okay, so still says that
selected. The two. The two of them. Selected. The two of them make.
Okay, yeah.
So the two of them make their way over to
I
the couch
still
and
can't
flip
believe
through
I'm
a few
doing
more
this.
pages together.
How are we even going to get off the Eustacia in the first place?
Don't worry, I've got this all figured out. Believe me, I've got like a dozen escape plans lying around here. This will be easy. We just gotta join Tagora when he makes his way back to Gallic's ship. We'll wait there until Malik can send us transport down to Alternia. Then we can hide out in Everdim or something, or maybe one of the caverns.
Theseus freezes, realization smacking her in the face.
Holy fuck. I'm gonna get to see Daria again.
Well, if we do hide in the caverns, I suppose.
No, you don't understand. I haven't so much as texted Daria since Ascension. It's been a sweep and a half.
Theseus envelopes Stilsaw in a hug.
Thank you so much.
Stilsaw squeezes back, then looks expectantly at you.
Well, since you were so adamant on me joining the rebellion, I assume you'll be joining us too?
No, unfortunately, you still have some more friends to save. Actually, does she have any idea how you can get off the Eustacia?
There's a line of escape pods by the docking bay we came in on. You should be able to find your way there, no problem.
You don't know about no problem, but you'll try your best.
You might want to hurry though. Work starts in a couple hours and you don't want to risk getting caught.
Oh shit. Well, you guess it's goodbye for now. You hope you'll see them again before leaving Alternia for good. You all give a final wave goodbye before you slip out the door. You can already hear them flipping through the journal again as you leave.
Okay. Revolution. Looks like this is one of the good endings.
Volume 2, A Thinly Veiled Secret. Discovered a Shared Cause. Writing: Anna Marcus. Voice cast: Anna Marcus, Theseus. C.L., Malek. Jonah Urieli, Tagora. Tex, Stilsaw. Sprite artists: Daydreamer Lex, Tagora, Theseus, Stilsaw, Galek. P. Pamda, Malek. Background artists: Do you want to save your progress so far?
Yes.
Do you want? Yes. Save slot 5.
There we go.
Save.
And that actually kind of works out pretty good. So yeah, let's call it for there. Although
Save slot 4. Save. Load.
Yeah, that's
Loads. Load slot. Load.
Let's
Loads.
see what happens if we go the other
T-
route.
You warily approach Theseus, careful not to breach her personal space too much. You ask if she'd be okay to talk for a minute. Theseus sighs.
Sure, I guess.
So. It sucks up here.
Yup. Took you long enough to notice.
Like, really sucks. Is she absolutely sure she won't reconsider your offer to take her off planet?
Like I said, I'm needed here. Give me one reason why I should abandon the cause I've spent sweeps fighting for to leave for some mythical paradise.
She'll be able.
You think I give two shits about that? I've never relaxed in my life. Do you really think I'm gonna relax now?
But she clearly needs it. Everyone's telling her to slow down.
I can't slow down when I'm still needed. I can't be that selfish.
She'll. Theseus perks up for the first time since you came to the Iastitia.
What do you mean?
You're taking everyone, or everyone you physically can at least. You're sure Daria misses Theseus as much as Theseus is missing her, so it shouldn't be too hard to convince her to come, right?
You do realize she's in pretty deep too, right? Or at least I think she is? Fuck. It's been so long, I have no idea if she's even still in contact with Malik and the others.
Even if she's in deep too, you know you'll be able to convince her. And if Theseus leaves the Iastitia, she'll be able to contact Daria and help you convince her too.
Holy shit. I could actually see her again. I could... Wait, no. I'm doing too much important work up here. What would I tell Malik?
Tell him it's for her mental health. Malik isn't going to force her to do anything she doesn't want to do. He's a nice guy. He knows what it's like to feel helpless. Not to mention, when you talked to him earlier, he said he was worried about her. Especially the coffee drinking.
Okay, but you'd start drinking coffee too if you had to listen to head legislator Lash's pep talks every morning. I guess he has been trying to get me to take a break. But that's a break. That's me taking a week away from my burner husk, not leaving the cause entirely. What would the rest of the rebels do if I wasn't here as a failsafe? What could they do without me?
Send someone else to take her place. Work remotely. Does she have to do the stuff from up here? You bet you can bust some wormhole between the two universes and sneak some Wi-Fi between the two, letting her still communicate with Malik and the other rebels. And if she's really concerned about the Empire tracing her, maybe she could use a VPN or something. There were a bunch of them you saw recommended by GrubTubers the other day and...
Did you forget what I do up here? I shred the paper trail. I can't do that unless I have the records in my hands. Also, what? VPN? You think that'll protect anyone against the Empire? You have no idea the hoops we have to jump through here.
Send someone else to take her place. Why is she the only one who can do this job? Isn't there anyone else they can send up to take her place? What about Tajiri? He's a Teal involved in the rebellion. Then again, you were hoping to rescue Tajiri too, but you try not to say that part out loud.
You think they can just send Tajiri up here to swap places with me? Do you know how high security is on this ship? Not to mention Tajiri is a fucking wanted criminal. Him setting foot on the Justitia after deserting his original position is a cull on-site offense. And I don't know if you've noticed, but there aren't that many Teals out there who actually want to make a difference. Look, I know you're trying to help, but this is really not what I need right now.
Alright, you get it? You'll give her space. Theseus pauses.
You're just gonna try again in a couple hours, aren't you?
You nod slowly. You can't lie to her, especially when it would be such a blatant lie.
You should leave then. You should have a couple hours before the rest of the ship wakes up. You'll be fine. There's an escape pod around the area where we came in. I'm sure you'll be able to find it.
But, she's still suffering. You can't just leave her like this. Theseus gives you an exhausted glare. You can't argue with her. You make your way out the door, leaving a river of tomorrow's pain in your wake.
On the continents.
The council will see you now. Once again, your vision floods white. Fuck. You didn't even die this time. What are you doing here? Muse of light, you may not have died, but you still clearly need a do-over. Sylph of space, you're not sure if you... Muse of light, Sylph of space, Sylph of space. Whose illusion?
Alright,
You warily you ask if she'd be okay
Sure.
so.
Yup.
It sucks up It would make
Still
It would, wouldn't it?
Stilsa would be so happy on Earth. She'd be able to do all the organizational stuff she loves without having to worry about the Empire or being called. She can find a Jewish community and learn more about who she is and who her ancestor could have been. You have some friends you want her to meet who can help with that. She could do her daily run in the sun. You know Stilsa would love the sun. Theseus starts to tear up. Oh no. Did you say something wrong? Or are you finally breaking through?
I'm being selfish, aren't I?
No. Well, maybe a little, but...
I can't leave Ultermia. But I can't keep Stelsa from leaving either. I can't let her suffer up here just because I'm stuck, can I?
That's not what you meant. She has to come with Stilsa. You can't separate them.
You know I can't leave. Go on, tell her. Just let me say goodbye first, okay?
No. You're not taking Stilsa unless Theseus is coming with.
You think I give two shits?
Tell him about Daria. Lie to him.
Lie to him.
If you're worried Malik wouldn't let you leave the cause, you can always lie to him. Like you could. Tell him you have too much work and don't have time for revolution anymore. Ooh. Or you could tell him you're too busy grieving because Stilsa was just arrested and you were assigned to her trial. That'd convince him.
What the fuck? Do you have any idea how fucked up that sounds? And I'm not gonna lie to Malik. He's my friend. He'd see right through that anyway.
Aw, you thought they were pretty good lies.
Stelsa getting arrested? Where the fuck did you come up with that one? Look, I know you're trying to help, but this is really...
Alright. Try.
Try again.
You think I give...
It.
What?
Zip.
Tell him about Daria. Malik knows Theseus is missing her Moiral. You're sure he'd be happy to let her go if it meant they could see each other again.
No fucking way. Even if Malik wouldn't be upset with me for leaving, I sure as hell don't want to tell him two of his allies are leaving.
You mean, ideally you'd take him with you too, but what's the harm in two people leaving?
There's not that many of us. In case you forgot, it is literally the Empire's job to hunt us down and have us culled. I can't do that to him or the cause. Look, I know you're trying to help, but this is really not what I need right now.
Alright, you get it? You'll give her space. Theseus pauses.
You're just gonna try again in a couple hours, aren't you?
You nod slowly. You can't lie to her.
You should leave then.
Especially when
You
it
should...
would... Try.
Okay. I guess there's no,
You think I give...
It would...
no
It
option.
would.
She'll... Tell him it's for her. Tell him it's for her mental health. Malik isn't...
Yeah. Oh, wait.
Send someone else to take her. They would be... She does realize she's not necessary for the revolution, right?
What? Of course I'm necessary. What are you talking about? I'm the indispensable failsafe.
Malik told you himself. He's the one deleting the names from the registry, not her.
Of course he's deleting the drone registries. He's been doing that for fucking ever. I'm the only one who can burn the paper trail.
But the paper trail doesn't actually need to be burned. When you were talking to Malik earlier, he said Theseus' job was to delete stuff just in case he was caught or somehow failed. When was the last time that happened?
Never. But it could.
Wouldn't the rebellion have bigger problems if Malik was caught than whether or not old records are deleted? Realization smacks Theseus across the face.
God, if Malik was caught, we'd have to put everything on hold, wouldn't we? We'd have to go even further into hiding? Nothing could get done until we got another tech guy on board who's high caste enough to sneak under the radar? Fuck! If that happened, there's nothing I could even do up here, is there?
Right?
When I first agreed to cut contact with everyone, before I actually made it up to the Eustitia, I thought I'd have access to more records, more top-secret information. I've got the library, of course, but there's some stuff I won't even get to think about touching until I'm promoted to full legislacerator. That's sweeps down the line. I'm not even that useful up here until then, am I?
Theseus flops on the couch, the weight of the last sweep finally becoming too much to bear.
There's no point in me torturing myself for a redundant job. I want to see my Moirel again.
You leave Theseus lying on the couch and knock on Stilsaw's door.
Who is it?
You ask if Stilsaw can come out for a moment. You and Theseus have something you want to talk about. Stilsaw comes out of the bedroom, hands wringing nervously, and gingerly sits down next to Theseus' collapsed form.
What is it you two want to talk about?
Hey, Stils? I know I was kind of resistant about it earlier, but how do you feel about leaving? With me?
Stilsaw's hands stop moving and her eyes go wide.
Really? You want to leave the Eustitia?
Oh no, is Stilsaw more loyalist than you thought? Does she not want to get out of here? Oh no.
Oh, let's see what the message from Triza
Select.
is.
Oh, selected.
Yep.
Oh no.
It
Is
sucks
Stilsaw
here.
more loyalist
You
than
know
you thought?
it sucks here. And I
Does she
can't
not
keep
want to get
torturing
out of
myself
here?
up here for reasons that barely matter in the long run. Let's go with them. I want to be able to breathe again.
Oh, yes! I'm so glad you've come around on this. I was so worried for a second. I had been eavesdropping a bit. I know, horribly rude. And I was convinced you were going to try and ask me to leave without you for a minute there. Which you know I could never do.
Not gonna lie, I was feeling pretty guilty about keeping you here. I almost suggested it.
But now you don't have to. Oh, it's going to be so incredible.
Stilsaw wraps her arms around Theseus, practically
Practically lifting her off the couch. Yeah.
selected. Stilsaw wraps her arms
We'll
around
be
Theseus,
able to get an apartment
practically
together,
lifting her
far
off the
from our
couch.
work, just like back on planet. And I'll finally be able to look more into Stenya and her culture.
And I'll actually be able to talk to Daria again.
Stilsaw pauses and stares at her mate Sprit.
What do you mean? Aren't you always leaving the apartment to talk to her?
No. It's a long story. I'll explain it to you when we're away from the Eustitia. Far away.
Speaking about that, how are we supposed to get off the Eustitia? Are you taking us to the new universe now?
No, you still have to figure out some stuff with that. They can hitch a ride with Tigora, right?
Of course. I'm sure he won't mind.
And you'll just come pick us up whenever you get your zappy powers back?
Something like that. For now, you've got more friends to save. Speaking about this, how do you get off this death trap of a ship?
There's a few escape pods near where we came in. I assume you'll be able to find your way there.
You sure hope you will. Either way, Theseus doesn't look in any state to show you how to get there. Stilsaw begins bouncing around the apartment, frantically packing for the journey to come. You let Theseus breathe. It's the first breath she's been able to take in a long time.
Okay.
Volume 2, A Thinly. Do you want to save? Yeah. Save.
Yes.
Save
I
slot
received one
6.
right here, but I
Empty
think I'm
slot
gonna-
selected. Save.
I'm gonna
Slot.
go with the Revolution
save.
ending, so. And we will continue on into Volume 3. This one was much shorter than the first one. The first one was, hours long. A lot of text, a lot of investigation and whatnot.
Save.
So.
Save.
Anyway, till next time, later.
Close menu. Miss Barr's journey will continue in Volume 3, Lest the Dust Becomes Us.